Hey everyone, what's up? It's David here at Finish Line Factory, and I'm here today at the shop. Now, if you haven't really been following along, this is my built engine turbo Miata, and unfortunately, during a rally a couple weeks ago, I blew the motor, and I actually have it right here. So here's a short block. I got the cylinder head over here, and I finally got it back from the machine shop. Had to spend a lot of money. So in all, we had to replace a connecting rod, we had to replace the crankshaft because that was so chewed up that the guy at the machine shop said it probably might not be a good idea to restore, especially since if I have the option of replacing the crankshaft, I should just exercise that option. In addition, while the engine was out, I did have them replace the exhaust valves. So now I have SuperTech. Actually, no, these are the exhaust valves. Those are the intake. Wait, no. Yeah, those are the intake valves. These are the exhaust valves. So now I have SuperTech black nitrided stainless steel exhaust valves. So these can handle much more heat. I can handle a lot more boost. Not that I had any issues with the valves previously, but it's good to have, you know, upgraded stuff when you can. I still have stock intake valves, and to be honest, the intake valves aren't a big deal because, well, let me give a quick rundown. So when air is entering the cylinder, the air is rushing around the edges of that poppet valve right here, right? So the edges of the intake valve, because it's pulling in relatively cool air, isn't a big deal. But when the air is leaving the cylinder, it's being pushed out by the piston, it's running more or less around the edges and around the outside of the exhaust valve. And so if your EGTs are somewhat high, you know, sometimes in the 1,000 to 1,600 degree range, you can cause issues. You could do something called burning a valve, in which you literally, the valve gets so hot that the edge of the valve, the metal, starts burning. And having upgraded exhaust valves is definitely a big option there. In addition, I have the turbo. The turbo has been refreshed by Work Turbochargers in Atlanta. No, not Atlanta, Alabama. So the turbo is refreshed, good to go. Had to replace a couple bearings there. What else? Oh, while the engine was out, I did upgrade the. I got a fan here, fan with a shroud. This is for my new oil cooler that I have purchased from Improved Racing. So now I have an upgraded. I'd open that upside down. I now have an upgraded oil cooler right here. So this will be going on the car, and. Another big problem that I had was that on this Naples rally, you know, we're all driving in a spirited manner, and I'm cranking out like 6,000 RPM to keep up because the gearing on the Miata is so short. In addition, I also had a little bit of a concern with the 5-speed transmission. They're known to be relatively weak and can only handle so much power, so I have upgraded this. I now have a 6-speed transmission that I have purchased from S&S Mazda Parts, so check them out, Alex Todd on Facebook. And I have a 3.6 differential. So this setup will give me much taller gearing. It'll give me, allow me to drive on the highway with lower RPM, so instead of buzzing by at 80 miles an hour in 4,000 RPM, I'll be buzzing by at 3,200 RPM at 80 miles an hour. So that'll be much more improved. The 6-speed transmission is a lot stronger. And yeah, it's overall a much needed upgrade. So while that's out, I've also gone ahead and going to start doing the wheel hubs on the Miata, the bushings on the suspension. I'm putting in new rear wheel bearings. I'll do the fronts later. And yeah, just upgrades all around. Got a brand new axle here because the passenger side axle was stuck. I'll show you the axle right there. The axle had actually frozen itself into the hub, so we had to pound that out. I saved the kingpin. We're going to take care of the wheel bearings later over at Side Mission. I'm going to use their press. And yeah, well, don't have much else to say, so let's get started with the engine assembly. All right. Motor is more or less ready to drop in. Still got a few more things to finish. I'm gonna hold off on doing the oil filter thingy just yet. I want to wait until the basically I want to get the engine running in the simplest possible configuration, and then I'm gonna add the oil filter sandwich plate and add the oil cooler later. You know, that way I can measure the pressure drop when I add those additional components and see if it's going to be a problem like I had last time. I moved the oil pressure sensor down here, and I have the oil temperature sensor in the oil pan now, so now I get more accurate readings. A couple more things I still need to finish. I'm going to finish those off camera. I'm going to do the intake manifold plenum, the valve cover, and the turbo once the engine's in the car. This gives me a little bit more space to maneuver the engine into place. One thing I did notice, if I pull this over here, one second, move some stuff around. For some reason, and I pulled this out of the car, so I don't know what the deal is, but this O-ring is too small to fit in the fuel rail, right? Like I pulled this out like this. This has been in the car for a while now, and it wasn't leaking before, but somehow if I put this in there, it's just gonna, like, notice how these are all like rigid, like they're really, really in there. I can't really pull it out, right? Like they're in there. But this, like I can't, look at this, I pick up the whole rail. So I'm gonna figure out a replacement O-ring right here, see what's going on with this fuel injector. But other than that, motor looks like it's pretty good to go. Just transmission, 6-speed transmission is good to go. Engine's in, everything is just peachy, right? I still have to do back there, I've got to put the axles in, I got to put the new differential in. Some modifications I need to do to the differential housing. I've also got new hubs. I'm gonna be getting pressed into the wheel bearings as well, so I can get all this assembly set up, and then once everything's back together, I'll have a running car again. So with that, I'm gonna end the vlog here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much. Be sure to check out finishlinefactory.com if you have any fittings or hoses or anything else that you might need. And I'm out. So catch you guys later. See ya. Bye.